Good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon, to whichever part of the world you are. Welcome to the GMS Live, the voice of democracy. Good night. As I say again, good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon, to whichever part of the world you're joining me from. As you bring yourself in, please share the live, share the live, share the live. Uh, we're here to speak about a de facto administration. I'm here to speak about a de facto administration. And it's a pleasure informing Guyanese. It is. It's a pleasure bringing about the information as it is needed. So good evening to you from Guyana, to the Caribbean Isles, to the Pacific Isles, to the West Indian Isles, to the British Virgin Isles, to the US Virgin Isles, Maldives, Mexico, US, Canada, UK, EU, China, Beijing, Hong Kong, Japan, Tajikistan, to those on the Australian continent of Melbourne and Tasmania, to those in New Zealand and the New Zealand Isles and the Tonga Isles, to those the African continent and all the isles surrounding them, to those in the South American continent like Chile and Argentina, and Venezuela and Brazil, Suriname, Dutch and French Guyana, and the Netherlands, along with Curacao. Good night to you all. To those who are now joining, and to those who are also telling me about the unavailability of a notification. You see, there is a foul play about having the Gavin Matthews show air live on Facebook, on YouTube. And by the way, I'm back on YouTube, but you need to type in just G Matthews. And I'm live there. I'm not live on the old channel. I'm live on the new one. So, so it's been a pleasure having the old one, but they took that down because they say I display too much of wrong information pertaining to the medical situation around the world. Well, you know, Gavin Matthews, they ain't got nobody that can stop me. I'm still a force to reckon with, and I will always be a force to reckon with. But before we get to that, in the year of 1899, there were a treaty that was signed by the British monarchy and the countries on the South American continent that was named Guyana. And that would have been the start of an ongoing acknowledgement that Essequibo belongs to Guyana. Now that problem seems to be raising its ugly head again. Let me tell you why that problem seems to be raising its ugly head. Mr. Air Fraud Ali, the presidents that we have, signed an agreement with the US State Department then under the Donald Trump government. Recognizing Mr. Guaido, the Venezuelan opposition leader, as the interim president. Oh, Lord. My head is really hot sometimes. That agreement happened on the 4th of August 2020. That was 2 days after this, I don't know what Vakali was sworn in. Then it caused a political storm. Because the question is, how can you recognize a man that was never duly elected to a position as president, as interim president, when in his own country is the opposition leader? Oh, shoot, I forget. I forgot, I totally forgot. He was installed. So it is hard for him to recognize democratically elected leaders. The thing is that I want to know how in the world this man, hold on, I think I get a message here just now. Hold on, let me read this thing. Oh, yes. Thinks sometimes. I really would like to understand how this man would think. Does he has a brain of his own? If there is, does he allow his cerebral capacity to grow so that he can understand what he's going up against? And not only did he sign that recognition of agreement, he also made an approval for VOA, Voice of America, to be installed somewhere in the Essequibo region. So those that are situated in Venezuela can have a Spanish channel broadcasted by the Voice of America. You know, a lot of us thinks that this thing that we call installation of a fraudulent regime is just for the PPP. No. They agreed to sell this country out. That's why they were installed. They agreed to give Guyana over to the dictatorship of the United States of America. That's what they agree of. It is just only the Biden government that come in decided to say, well, things got to be different. But there we have it again, where it's raising its ugly head on the discussion of Essequibo. Because apparently all of that plateau is suddenly an oil reservoir. All of that plateau, that entire Essequibo region, 2, 3, 10, 9, some parts of region 7. That entire plateau. You know, the amount of stupidness that is taking place in this country when the days are coming, it's just becoming an epiphany of one's imagination. The other thing I want to talk about is that there is a constant drumbeat about the COVID-19 patients that are in a drumbeat of complaints about the COVID-19 patients that are in the COVID-19 hospitals. I don't know what's going on, but families are complaining not being able to talk to their families. That's one. Not being able to find out about their conditions. That's two. Not being able to see what is being administered to them. That's three. Now, if so be the case, I'm telling you all, stop this nonsense. Guyanese, stop allowing these people to take control of your families without knowing what is going on. Demand it. It's your constitutional rights. Don't allow anybody to take over your constitutional rights. I'm begging you. Because what is going on now around us, it's now become a dangerous practice or a dangerous precedent. But what is going on right now is everything is collapsing in Guyana. Every single thing. We don't have a government. We don't have a caretaker government. We got a bunch of dictators who tells themselves that they represent Guyana. Read my lips. Not one chorus, not even a blade of grass. To the PPP. To the Pptp, the People's Progressive Terrorist Party. That is who they are. To those who are now joining in, my plight tonight is not to allow the public health system to take control of your families who's in the COVID wards or in the COVID hospital without providing proper information. let me tell you something. They might got called the army and the SWAT for me. Because certain things I ain't allowing. So, me not worry. I think they don't know Gavin Matthews how we stay. Got some loose screws and the head ain't good. So, let's take good precedent. Stand back, take a look at what's going on, and ask ourselves, what are we allowing in our society today? What kind of change? What kind of damage we're doing to ourselves and families by having this charade of criminals take over our political system, our judicial system, and yet still we can't say anything. This is a mafia gang. These are tyrants. I don't understand how this will become president and prime minister and all these things in this country. This is a bunch of terrorists terrorizing the lives of Guyanese. And when we talk about it, oh no, we can't say that. But let me tell you what I can say now. Now Trinidad, Barbados, Canada, couple other countries, well, since you're coming from Guyana, asking to see if you're vaccinated, the card that you're being vaccinated, so they can get the information. So once you have the Sputnik there, bye. Can't come in this country, you gotta stay in Guyana with it. Now, they vaccinate so many thousands. We don't know what is going on with vaccine. Who got first dose and who got double dose and who has side effects, we just don't even know. The de facto regime doesn't even know how to approach the situation. Well, since he's in Mexico, I think they're in New York tonight. And the guy's supposed to got some meeting somewhere and got some big protest or what have you. I want to, well, he know he's getting resistance. Knows that he's getting resistance. So I'm telling you in advance, if you're being accompanied, you best walk with your piece of cheese in a trap and a pole. So in case the fright comes on, you can be able to quell the thirst that will be coming. So we are having serious problems in Guyana. We got people who are now being vaccinated. I only have one dose and you don't have the second dose for some persons. Some persons has the second dose, but the Minister of Health doesn't know what to say. The de facto Minister of Health doesn't know what to say. People are now turning up in the institutions, the COVID institutions that house these COVID-19 infected persons, or the variant, or was a new variant now? Some other variant that are wiping and sweeping through our lands. And the de facto Minister of Health doesn't know what to say. Just does not know what to say. The medical industry in this country has collapsed. Medical system has collapsed because they don't know how to treat the patients. Oh, a lot of them are under medical induced coma. Those are those in the ICU. But between 100% of them surviving, 90%. No, between 100% of them surviving is 10%. 90% ends up dead. You know, there's a grinding issue to see where this de facto administration is going and how race is involved and being played at it. And then when you find that they can't shoot the race, they're trying to create a critical theory. I don't know for what reason. Now their own people are protesting against them. So we can bring up this cause now. Now the cane cutters came out and decided to protest. They decided to down tools, refuse to work. Suddenly an agreement is signed. So wages can be paid according to working hours correctly, whether they're losing or they're gaining. But that agreement cannot be signed with the Ghana Public Service Union, the Ghana Teachers Union, the Ghana Clerical Commercial Workers Union. These agreements cannot be signed. Suddenly, cane cutters come out for 2 days. Not even 1. It's a 1.5. Suddenly, an agreement is signed. What a disrespectful thing. And they want to call themselves a government. I don't know how it works for them. But I don't know for us, why must we sit down and allow this all the time? Guyana economic blackout is in full swing. We have given the week that gone for persons to make themselves known, work on the protests that they were talking about, and shutting the place down. Apparently that didn't work, because I don't know if the ability to rally the people behind them was the problem. But I'm going to tell you this. We need for this shutdown to happen. This is the only way the de facto administration is going to learn a lesson. This is the only way for them to learn a good lesson. And if we don't teach them a lesson now, they will never learn it. They will always think that the right thing is to do is to bully us, threaten us with terror and tyranny and death, make us physically present when these lynching is going on, bright daylight murder. Took us back to the slavery days. Although slavery was abolished so many 100 years ago, or so many years ago, as a matter of fact, 100, so many years ago. We're back to the slavery days. We're looking at our family dying before us, and nothing that can happen there can be compensated by this de facto administration. We're looking at us losing our rights to ourselves, constitutionally binded to ourselves. We're losing those rights. We're not saying anything. We're afraid of the slave master and all his cronies that are part of this government, this de facto administration. That's what we're looking at. That's what some of us are afraid of. They're so much afraid. This fear is a sickness, is a disease. It makes people do things that they don't want to do, and they accept death. That's slavery. When you can accept your rights as a human being to be taken from you. There's slavery, friend. And you can't say nothing. Look how much people are dying now. Can't say a thing. If they're saying something within the realms of the social media, but nobody's identifying. They just put a video out there and that's it. Some of them are identifying themselves. They're bold enough. That's good. But how much longer can we do this? How much? How much longer must we accept this type of tyranny, this type of mayhem and death? How much, Guyanese? How much longer? You know, Sunday I was in church. And while I was in church and during the lessons of the class, I remembered this particular scripture. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And believe you me, regarding Matthews is concerned, the valley don't even exist. Trample upon it. It's what we gotta do. You call yourself a child of Christ, a follower of Christ. You call yourself a Christian. Christians don't behave so. Read the same Bible that you're reading, and they can tell you plain, them boys was tyrants. And playing with no government. And playing with no wicked system. Rise up and they tear it down. When I look at myself, I'm happy to be doing that. Because you know why? I can't sit down anymore, any longer, and watch my people suffer. And I keep saying that over and over, day in and day out. Can't sit down and watch y'all suffer. Oh no. And don't say anything about it. I don't know why people don't want to get up and say something about it, but I can't. It's hard for me to do so. It's hard for me to do so. You know why? I don't know, but humility is something that is deep within me. I had a couple of calls from the PPP constituency. A group of Indian people. Two of them say, although we vote for them, they treated me right. Let me tell you something who are looking. Most of them who voted for the PPP don't care about you. You know why? Let me tell you why. They took away your right to be represented according to your will, which is the Constitution. And a party can do that, and you affiliate yourself with them, they don't care about you. No party, not even the party that I may vote for can do that. Not even the political party that I voted for can do that. Because I'm making sure when they do that, I bring them to subjection. I go work overtime. Can't do that. Why should them do that to us? And they did it to all of us. It's not some of us, all of us. And when they finish doing it to us now, they create a system where it's to muzzle us so we can't speak. So when we can't speak now, we can't do anything because we have fear. And then when we develop fear, they call the religious communities, the Christians, the Hindus, and the Muslims. And they create an FBI, a faith-based initiative of 150 million Ghana dollars. Hand it over to them. You know why they did that? That is to muzzle us who fear them some more. So your imam and your majis and your pastors and your prophets and all of these people, you sit down and tell like what tell we named the other day, the assistant pastor for the church. You don't got the COVID-19 card where you can't come. Muzzle us. So now we subject ourselves to them. Now they're telling us through our faith-based initiative, the churches, the mosques, and temples. Yes, I'm talking for my Hindu brothers and sisters too. I'm a Muslim brothers and sisters. Talking for them too. They are muzzling you through your leaders to create hope amongst fear. I don't understand how you can get hope out of fear. To tell you that blessed is he who endures to the end. Endure what? To which end? Yes, I come fired up tonight. Especially for the religious community. I know the one that I go to said plain and straight that they're not requesting any COVID-19 cards to come to church because believe you me mouth ain't gonna finish there at all. It is people's rights. It is their constitutional rights and it is their human rights to make their own choices for themselves. Since when you got to make a choice for me? Eh? Since when you got to make a choice for me? Since when your choice is over my life? It's like building your house to house your family and a man walks through the door and take your wife away and you can't say anything. That's what it's like right now in Guyana. The de facto Minister of Health, they ignoramus. He know nothing. He know how to start. And he's infiltrating your homes. He's taking away the rights to your family. He's taking away the rights to your children. Because if you can't control what goes in and out of your child, well, then you have no right over them. So you see school closed because not the parents coming out to protest. It is the teachers who's saying, no, you cannot do that. Even to the head teachers who's protesting and rebelling against this. Rebelling against this that comes with a signature from hell. saying, no, 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 not me. I'm not accepting that. So what the de facto minister has to do now? She said, well, school got closed. And we gone back to online learning. It is the God-given right of every human being. 3, they come with, and the rest is added. They come with 3 and they go with 3. It's your inalienable right to life, liberty, and property. No matter which part of this orchard you got to live, whether you live on the road or you live on a piece of squatted land or you live in a building, property, it's yours. They can't take you off of it. You must have the right to breathe and to grow, because when that's life. When you can breathe in clean air and exhale, inhale clean and exhale carbon dioxide, is that your body pushes out waste constantly. So you can make room to give birth to the rest of your cells so you can become a grown man and a woman. And the right must be yours of liberty, which is your freedom. Nobody must take your freedom away from you. No one. No one man sitting down behind a camera saying that the FDA can approve emergency use, but cannot approve the sustainability of the vaccine. And he's one of America's chief doctors. I listened to him very carefully. So the reporter asked him, when you think that the FDA is going to approve the vaccine as giving it the full approval, he said the approval for the emergency use is like you have to think that it is for the substantial agreement for the permanent use. But that's not it. Emergency use and a substantial agreement for permanent use, 2 different things. What's his name again? By these people, so ones they look like me, I can't remember them. That's my problem. But that's what he said. Fauci. That's what he said. But the question was asked over and over again by the NBC reporter that was questioning him about this use of all the vaccines, not 1, 2, 3, and 4, of all of them. There's not even the WHO approved them. Everybody approved the emergency use, but then you have to take control of the side effects. You have to take responsibility. You must be able to tell people, do like what Honduras is doing, produce a package, a COVID-19 package. That's what they did, with all sorts of vitamins and minerals. So in case that you end up catching this particular covert, you have the vitamins and minerals to take, the supplements to take. Not like this de facto government created a supplementary order through an official gazette and cannot present supplements to its general public. No, it can't happen. Lots of y'all got to die first. How I can get a $600 million US. What thing I get a $600 million US? I got to show a certain level of height that this thing climbing through the roof, tearing up the country. before I can get some money. 600 million. A lot of people can get paid there. Believe you me. Payday. Full payday. I know that as long as I exist, I am not coming on this show and entertain not a soul. I'm coming to educate you. If you don't want to be educated, fine. I understand. It's your free will. It's your freedom. The greatest gift God ever gave to man is the gift of choice. What he said to them. You can choose the choices that you want, but you cannot choose the consequences of your choices. So take heed. Listen very carefully. The greatest gift God ever gave to man was the gift of choice. That's why me as a father and as a man, I'm making sure that my choices are permanently stamped into the brain of those who want to take my choice away. That's my free rights and will to create and to make my own choices. So don't think that it's only you alone got brains in the PPP. And these things are petty, small items. You know, the amazing things is that, as I keep saying over and over again, these people only know force when it's being forced upon them. Is when they react positively. Is when they react. The teachers all around the country are refusing to teach under certain circumstances. You can't force them. What you gonna do now? You can't dismiss all of them. What you gonna do? Where you gonna find teachers to teach them? Them pick me this who we got. Them who coming out to the training school and even budging. So you can find teachers to teach all these children. Not only the teachers, but the head teachers are now forming and joining the gang. Because they're saying, my body, my choice, respect my will. That's what they're saying. The head teachers gotta come down to the gate to say the security guard, they were telling you, blue book and ID, and the head teacher telling them, oh, stand aside, push you one side, put the people in the gate and tell go and teach them picnic, this will come to school. No, they can't control her. So they got to go back to the drawing board and sit down how to force these teachers. Remember, it is you who said that the teachers complained to you. We hear this lie now. You who said that the teachers complained to you, saying that there's a lot of them who are being stifled by the GTU about increase of salary pertaining to their qualifications, who would have gotten their masters and degrees and all these things, about the duty-free and the duty-free allowances. So you collected back from the GTU, put it under the ministry, thinking that, well, then you can get nice support. Yeah, man, support yourself. So what happened now? Somebody telling the greatest lie of all. Somebody telling it. I'm not saying you don't have sympathizers. They got a lot of sympathizers, but the sympathizers in the Pptp doesn't even understand the strategies of the PPTP. And as we're talking about it, up to now, the Minister of Social Services and Human Development, or whatever the ministry is, cannot reach out to that family in Dartmouth whose children are still suffering the effects of what happened, of the cold-blooded murder of their hero. That's who he is. Every father is a hero to his children, because that is the person who they look upon to gain strength. You took away the life of the hero of that family. Now those children has to grow with a psychological effect. And up to now, nothing comes out, not even from the Child Protection Agency. Because for them to come out and do anything, they have to condemn the actions of the police. And to condemn the actions of the police is actually condemning the de facto administration. Now I see something in the news media about Clifton Hickens. I'm saying that if you're responsible for the death squad going there, because that's what it is, you must take your responsibility. Take it like a man. Own up to your responsibility. If you're the person in charge of sending them there, then you have to take the blame. You think got 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 ways in it, you have to take the blame. Don't start screaming. Answer the question. Were you the person responsible for dispatching the death squad in that area? Or the SWAT squad? I call it the death squad. It doesn't matter. Whichever government they're in is the death squad, because that's what they're trained to do. They're trained to go and resistance. And the only way that has been done is by death. It's either they dead or you dead. Most obviously is you gonna die, because you got more firepower than them. That's what they're trained to do. You can't send men who are heightened, who has an adrenaline rush of death, to go into a home where you have families living, to domestically bring some sort of comfort or situation of what? What was the situation? Good night to you. So what was the situation? I think I lost that call. What was the sudden situation that caused the death of a hero for family? Mr. Hickens, if you're looking tonight, I want to ask you the question. How do you comfort a child who has witnessed such terror? What do you tell that child? As again, I say, if you're the person responsible, you're supposed to be blamed for that situation. See, even if you got to lose your job, you got to resign, that's your position. If you don't have to resign, well, then tell me something. Since you're an assistant commissioner of police, I don't know if you get promoted or that's the thing. You have to say exactly what is it, if you're responsible for that area, that you can do for that family. Because if you are, and it seems to me that you are because you're responding to a statement that was issued by Mr. This was it? See, I'm trying to remember the organization that Mr. Burke is part of in the US. You're responding to that. If you don't have anything to say, why you're allowing it to bite you? It tells me something that something is wrong because it is biting. And you're responding to it because somehow or the other, maybe you're responsible for the responsibility of the death. But I'm letting you know now, to everyone who's looking, that is the situation now in this country. Now, before you left them people in the barracks in which they're there, they are there to bring not only law and order, but to quench any resistance against a lawful act. That's what their position is. To stay in that barracks when things get out of hand, like too many guns in the tongue or in the streets. Them is where you're supposed to send them people to. This way they're supposed to do. Find the two would turn up and kill you clean with Kalashnikovs. This way they're supposed to go on and they're doing. Thank you for calling the GMS Live Voice of Democracy. Good night to you.
Yes, good night, Gavin. Gavin, I was looking at the news just now and I just saw that they said that COVID rising in Guyana and in all of the wards in the hospital, in Georgetown Hospital, they have COVID. But the question I want to ask, they have all the nurses them that don't have vaccine is outside. It's very funny because they are outside now, they're locked outside. The people that working out inside, all of them, they claiming to have vaccine. But now, the COVID rising in the hospital, with those people that have the vaccine, they are there and the COVID rising there. So I don't know how the Minister of Education the Minister of Health could explain that one.
Well, let me answer your question in two parts. The Ministry of Health got to make sure that these things are publicly given, the knowledge, the rise of COVID-19, people in the hospitals or in the wards, in the ICU and all these things. Because you got to remember now, this terrorist government needs $600 million. So in order for them to get this $600 million, if you come in with a cough or a flu, it's covert you got.
It's COVID, yes.
You understand? And then they will physically take you away and put you in an isolation area. And if you have pre-existing conditions, listen to me carefully.
Yes.
If you have pre-existing conditions and you go under a medical induced coma, 90% of the time you won't wake up.
It's true.
You understand what I mean? Because that's what happens when you're going to the. Hold on, I want to answer this. I want to bring the second part to you now. Stay away. Tell your family to stay away from Georgetown Public Hospital.
That's true.
You understand?
That's true. Yes.
Stay away. There are lots of nurses who are living next door and a couple houses down. There are a lot of doctors who are living in your area. Seek their medical attention and try to get some sort of medical assistance from your local drugstore. Because I'm going to tell you this, partner. If you turn up at Georgetown Hospital or any one of the public hospitals or health centers, you're looking thin. You're really, really looking thin. So go ahead.
Yes, and next thing that I told you a time before that the government that is installed there, they are putting the constitution how they want. You tell me no, they can't do it so, but that's exactly what they're doing right now.
No, hold
Because
on. Hold on.
Yeah, there's
What
no
I
right to do it is illegal, but that is exactly.
Oh well, good. Thank you very much. They still can't do it how to do it. That's why they're in some serious problems. You understand? So what has happened? Right. What has happened now? They had a Caribbean Council of meeting of those countries or islands on the Pacific Isles and the West Indian Isles and the Caribbean Isles. They had a meeting in Mexico, in Latin America, and all these places. So they had their own conversation then, right? But the conversation is, what makes you legitimate, Mr. Afradali? What makes you legitimate? I don't think he could answer the question up to now. I don't think, and everything that he does is illegal because it's unconstitutional. You cannot replace the Constitution with Article 60, and when you want to challenge things, now you throw away Article 60 and bring back the Constitution to suit you. You can't do that. This is why you're ending up. This is why you end up now like the Attorney General, because in everything that he does contradicts the way in which they gain power. In everything that is before them. Right now, pertaining to legal ramblings in the court, it contradicts them because you have to explain your legitimacy. That's the problem.
And something that is showing clear now is that the police force, the public have no confidence in the police force, and I am sure what I'm telling you now, by the time this month end, all police, when they leave in home, they have to leave home in civilian clothes to go to work. They, when they reach to work, put their police clothes because the country is going to upturn. The public have no confidence anymore in the police, and the police, they are going to have problem. Now that I see they put something similar like what happened to Haiti. They put in the people who commit the crime in GEBO to investigate the crime. You cannot put those who commit the crime to investigate the crime. You have to get somebody else to investigate them. For me, one is I'm sorry to say it this way because I'm not racist, but it's only a next stupid little black man that pulled the trigger gonna end up in problem. But the ones them that send him, they're there. They just sit back there. Nothing can happen to them. The investigation should start from the top. You have to hold those at the top, and then you hold them out, squeeze the trigger.
No, you see, the thing is that where the police force is concerned, I gotta scratch my head because it's all kind of lawlessness right now. They got good police. They got good police, and they got the bad ones. They got the ones who are drinking soup, and they got the ones who ain't want to drink soup. You understand? And then when you bring them together now, it becomes a definite problem. That's why the de facto government cannot trust the police force. So they want to create their own little army, the Red Beret. You understand? So they can run around the place and do as they feel like. Now, too much questions now being asked. So what do you think happening now? They got certain senior ranks in the police force vexed because this never used to happen back then. Nobody never used to ask questions. Now people are asking questions, bringing you to public understanding, and you're vexed. Well, if you ask questions, answer the questions. Were you the person in charge of signing that approval for the disbursement of the SWAT squad? Yes or no? Don't jump up and want to pull a hot air out to the sky. Yes or no? Simple. If you're responsible, then you're supposed to be held accountable for their actions.
Yes.
Because as far as I'm concerned, I heard that he's the assistant commissioner of administration, and under him, that's where the SWAT squad falls. If I'm right, that's the case. If I'm wrong, well then somebody correct me. I haven't done that that piece of information, but that's what my conclusion is about. So I'm saying, if you're responsible for that, stand to your responsibility.
Yes, yes, yes. Take your blame. Take your
Take
blame.
your blame. Take your whipping like a man. If you lose a stripe or a demotion or whatever the case may be, so should it be. Well, I don't know about the demotion because there's no police service commission. So it's like a Wild West. You understand?
Next thing too, boy, you told me already you don't like hear the man name call on your program, but he does that jumping around and going in all story, but I never see he go to his people to investigate that killing or find out what really happened. Mr. Critic.
Oh, my watch. Everything you call about him, I just gotta laugh.
I never see he end up in his people and find out anything.
No, he can't go there, friend. And then people see he gotta get a contingent of bodyguards. He gotta borrow some people from the presidential guard for go there. You understand? He can't be there. You can't understand, this thing is a divided thing. They're between, I can't say a race of people, because I don't think Guyana got race. Believe you me, friend, I used to mix up that I only look so dark in complexion. But I got them in me. All of we got them. If you're talking about years ago before the East Indians from Asia, which is we call from India, and the blacks, before they started mixing up, because the thing is that when they realized that they were just like themselves, whether they're being paid to be slave or were not being, it was the same treatment they used to get. So they had the interrelation marriages, the inter-ethnic marriages, they had everything. So that's why we some we had mix up Douglas set of people. It's the same thing went on in Suriname. That's why Suriname was named Suriname. The name Suriname means black and East Indian or black and Indian. That's the name. That's what it means. Suriname. You understand?
Yes.
That's what it means. So I I just gotta laugh at these chatteries we got in this country, boy. Believe you me. I just got to laugh, friend.
When I look at news with some police, I just want to know if they're out their head or something out their mind, because they just been forced to go and brutalize their own community, their own set of people. It's just like when Nelson Mandela was in jail.
Yeah.
They used to use those black people to go and destroy those other black people.
But here was the problem. Here was the problem now. When you done went to do all of that, you gotta go back in the same village where you live in.
That's why I just tell you that they will end up start walking with civilian clothes to go to work, and when they reach to work, then they have to put on the police clothes. They can't wear it on the road. It will happen. It will happen in Guyana. It will happen. The table will turn again, because the civilians have no confidence in the police. Non-confident now. We lost confidence in those police. Before they come and defend you, they come in and beat you. Well, Gavin, you have a good night. I will stay listening to you.
Yes, man. You take care. Stay safe and be careful. Okay?
Okay, you too.
Okay. Good. Well, again, as we try to funnel through the nights with some difficulties, some things that are now popping up, I'm saying to you in Guyana that I appreciate the time that you take to come on the show and to be a part of the conversation. I want you to do so tomorrow night. The YouTube page is G Matthews, and that's a new page. Hold on. think I see a call is coming in. Let me answer this call. Oh. Thank you very much for calling GMS Live, the voice of democracy. Good night to you.
Good night, Gavin.
Good night to you.
You know what I'm telling you? What I'm really saying, you're always addressing we as black and the East Indian. Why? We are not black. Black is black. If you can say East Indian, then you can call we African. We are African Guyanese. Right? We are African Guyanese. We are not black.
Let me ask you a question.
Black is black.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
When you look at the show, what do you get from the Gavin Matthews show? You just get black and East Indian alone, or that word bothers you?
I don't want to hear black. Because black is black.
No, you
know why I don't want to hear black? It don't want to bother me because I'm from a place where they're calling black man. This is what the Koreans call me, black man. You see? So it bothers me a lot.
Well, then
you can address them as East Indian. Address us as Negro.
Let me help you to understand. Let me help you to understand something. One, we should never even call ourselves black because black is an adjective. It describes a color. That's one. Negro comes from the word Nubia or Nubian because it's something that is as dark as gold. You understand? African is the name of a European general that think he conquered Africa and he named the land after himself. You get my point? So if you were looking at my show constantly, you realize that I educate people on this whole process. If you tell me, hold on.
That's why I enjoy watching your program.
Right, but if you tell me, no, I want you to listen. I want you to listen carefully. We must never allow these little things to take us overboard because we lose sight. We lose focus of what is real. You understand? I would understand if you want us to call ourselves Cushites. You understand? Or because I would give way to that. But then if you realize that my show is constantly educating you, I don't want you to think that I just look at black as black. I use that term because a lot of us who are ignorant and meaning not knowledgeable of the fact, that's what ignorant means. You understand? I use that so people can comprehend what I'm getting to. So I don't want you to feel at any time that I'm disrespectful or I'm just calling you black. Oh no, I'm using the words because I want you to comprehend what I'm teaching you. So I'm happy that you called because it tells me that other callers like yourself may have don't like that. So that's why it just helps me to redress what you're talking about. Okay? So I hope that suits you. Right. I hope that suits you. Believe you me, right? So
thanks. It hurts me because I know how people addressing me.
Okay.
Hey, black man, know your name, Gordon. Know your name, and you know their name.
Okay.
You call them by the name.
No, believe you me, I use the word coolie, and on this same show, I let people know what's the meaning of coolie. Coolie means.
Yes, you use it.
No, but I'm saying I let people know what's the meaning of coolie, and that's why I would tell people, man, you know, when you call a man coolie man or East Indian man, you call it coolie, you got to study the meaning of the word. You understand what I mean? You got to understand the meaning of the word. So I'm saying to you now, on this show, it's based about edifying, educating you, helping you to understand. And even if you're looking at me at a long time, then you realize that these words that I use, you understand, I'm way above
Yes.
them. I'm way beyond them. This is why when people call me, say, man,
Yes.
by how you got critics talking about you and calling you black monkey. I said, you know what to them? I said, he's beneath me. I will never bring myself
Yes.
down to his standard. You understand? Because I'm
Yes.
self-educated. I didn't went to the University of Ghana, but I read. I learned to understand and comprehend. So I realized that he cannot sit down and debate me at anything. So he's beneath me and I don't have to study about that. So responding to him is like a waste of time. You understand?
Okay.
So I want you to know that I love you. And don't ever think that I'm disrespectful towards you. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very
All right.
much.
Have a blessed night. Have a blessed night.
You too. Stay safe and be
Be
careful.
safe.
Yes,
Be safe.
I will. I will.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. I think I got another call just now. Let me see who is calling me. Okay, yes. I think now you're calling in. And even if you do call in, I will call you back because I like when you call in. This is the voice of democracy. GMS Voice of Democracy calling back. Good evening to you.
A pleasant good evening to you, Mr. Matthews.
Good evening to you, sir.
To you and your viewing audience. I didn't tune in time to get to know what was your topic. But I'd just like to share some of these things that is on my mind in respect to the last fiasco we had with the killings in Dartmouth.
Mm-hmm.
And the individual, what is his name again? Oh boy, I keep forgetting his name. Anyway, that is one of my main concerns as a Guyanese, a citizen of Guyana by birth. It is only compelling for me to see that this is a case where justice has to be prevailed. We have to get justice in this particular situation. Reason why? In the Henry Brothers case, there were lapses in terms of not finding justice enough because no one saw an individual or individuals who caused the death of the Henry Brothers or beasts.
Here is the thing. When you say lapses, define for me, please.
Well, what I mean, it is because this engaging of the investigation of the Henry Brothers, it is one of which that because there's a lack of evidence that has caused not to bring some kind of justice to that fiasco that went down there in Berbice with respect to the Henry Brothers. That is what I meant by lapses.
Hold on. I like break things down fine. If a body is found on Mr. Matthews' plantation, who will I hold responsible?
Well, the body in which and whose territory the body is being laid there, that person is supposed to be the prime suspect.
Wonderful. Here, you know why I love about this show that I run is because we educate ourselves. You educate me, and I educate you.
Correct. You're correct.
If I don't want to bring the person who's culpable, who I think that owns the plantation, to the responsibility of having that body on there, I don't care who bring it where and drag it where. Upon you plantation, I can come and ask you.
Correct.
If I don't want to penalize you, I would create an atmosphere that will cause confusion. Then after that, I can go outside and bring somebody who I think can find the evidence. And what happened after then? Case closed.
Case closed. Correct.
That's what happened.
Right.
That is what happened. Now, if the police force, who I am paying as a taxpayer to protect and serve, can't protect and serve me, how can I trust them?
No, you can't. The police force in Guyana has reached a point that they are compromised, and because they are in a compromised institution, it bears the scar.
I think
of the sea.
I think you're too political correct, friend. The president of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana is the boss of the Guyana Police Force. He hires the commissioner. He does two things. He approves the deputy commissioner and the commissioner of police. That's under his arms. That's under his direction. He can say he's the chief, like the Constitution says so. So there's none of the Constitution in itself compromises the Guyana Police Force.
Right.
So it's not a corrupt entity. It is there to be served under the whims and feelings of the executive, which is the president.
Right.
They got waltz to the music. They got get up and go in open transport and turn on the music and waltz. This is what they get him paid for. Correct. But the Police Service Commission, I want to cut you, but the Police Service Commission helps to guide the police force under what we call a sustainability of democracy. And if the Police Service Commission can do that, and there's no acting Police Service Commission, we can take this lawlessness.
Correct.
Go ahead.
Yeah. But it's so saying this saga that happened a few days ago in Dartmouth. I want the world, the Guyanese people and the world to know this. This is a point whereby now that this killing that happened, the world has seen it and the world has viewed it as murder. Here's a case whereby you have somebody who was gunned down in their home 4 o'clock in the morning, or where hours in the morning in his home. And beside this person laid was his wife. His children probably went into, was residing or resting in another room. And upon such rampage that the police conducted at that residence awoke the children. And they are the direct eyewitness and saw what transpired in that home. The wife and children are the key primary eyewitness to that murder crime that happened in the house.
Wonderful. So what more else evidence do want? This direct evidence?
And that is direct evidence. Now, what I'm saying, remember the George Floyd situation in America? When the police was brought to justice and the people said, listen, in the height of George Floyd's murder that took place in America, New York, the people demanded justice because here's a case where the law enforcer officer or officers committed blatant murder in the open public that the world saw. And the people demanded justice in America. And they alluded to the law enforcers and the American law system that if they don't get justice in that country, it would have been an unruly behavior from perspective of the civilians.
Okay.
And I am saying the same thing should be applied here. We need no longer to be very diplomatic and in going about solving this murder here. The objective is Guyanese people need justice.
Well,
and rightfully so. This kind of operation could not have gone down without a directive coming from the top.
Of course.
It could not have gone down.
Because to activate a SWAT squad, you have to have the chief administrative person who's in charge of them to give approval.
Correct. But you see, I want to make this point. and to show you how technical they want to make this case. Remember the executive branch of the police.
Here. Hold on, wait, partner. Oh, don't I understand your feelings, right? But don't care all the distance. This thing simple. This thing simple, friend. Here is simplicity of this thing. When you send a highly set of trained men who were never trained to detain anyone, their position is to go and quell any resistance. And you do it by any necessary means. They know that when these men left that barrack room in Georgetown and left all the way from Georgetown, go tell Essequibo, and you got policemen with the station in Essequibo for the same man. This man is so highly dangerous that you send these men from Georgetown to go and get this man. This man ain't got a security guard. He might got a couple rice eater. I don't know if he has a weapon. You understand? I know if he got a gang of 10 or 8 who's watching back. This man one alone, like only in the house with his family. And you gonna kick in that door. What you think will happen when the police come face to face with an individual who they sent for? From since the movie can get shoot.
Yeah.
Because they're not trained to detain no one.
Yes. But before
they are licensed. Yes.
Before I forget, what was the motive behind the killing of this guy? What was really the question need to be asked here in this country? What was the motive of killing this man in that month? What was the true motive? And everybody has a right to give their own opinion, right? My opinion is, according to what the word is around, they're saying that this guy was a prominent businessman in the area. If I'm correct, you can correct me based upon what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, being a young black entrepreneur that has great potentials, it means that he would have been not only empowering himself,
yes,
or black people,
mm-hmm,
or his family. It poses a threat to the other ethnic group. And mind you, the president of the Corporate Republic of Guyana installed went up there a few days or hours before this killing. My point is, if you're going to a person's home, what was the motive? You say you're going for documents, the person is doing all kind of excuse the police force are coming up with. He's a wanted man? No, he's not a wanted man. He poses any great threat to society in the community? No, he did not. Well, we went into his house, kicked down his doors, barged in, shot him, and when the question asked what were you looking for, some documents, the police made a statement. This is highly unacceptable in our country. But my point is, this kind of act that is going on in Guyana, Mr. Matthews, it's becoming dangerous because it's becoming dangerous in the racial lines, in the racial context. Why? Since when a black man cannot support himself, sustain himself and his family, and be a businessman, to hold his head high and proudly in any society in this country without being targeted by the police.
If you're afraid to say that, I'm going to say that for you. It's the beginning of a new dawn. When they're going to kill those who are of my kind, African Guyanese, because we've seen and deemed some potential to our community and those around us. So for us to remain slaves, you got to murder the elders and the leaders of their villages and community. That is a cultural tactic to us, because you know why? It happened since under the Barjack, the old government, when they were turning our culture and entertainment culture. Well, apparently he ain't got a rum shop. Apparently he don't hold a dance. Apparently got a big tail of a tail stores of market, and he's helping to make sure that his community. But by the way, though, I want to thank you very much for calling. I got enough people calling, and I think I got to take the call because tonight I think might be a little longer night. So I thank you very much for calling. I want you to stay safe, be careful, sanitize yourself, and don't forget, covert is real. Thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely. You have a blessed night too, you and the family.
Yes.
And be
Good night to you, GMS Live, the voice of democracy. Go ahead.
Good night. Good night, Gavin. Thank you so much.
Ah.
I missed your show so many days. And I thank you so much.
Ah.
And I thank the brother that just called. He was on point in so many aspects. Now, referring to the young man that was killed, where the police barged his home and shot him for no apparent reason. It wasn't any search. Is it the wrong house they went to? There's no explanation. The fact that, okay, they said person, this is the thing, the Guyanese have to know their rights. One individual fired a shot. That's understood. He is on, I don't know, there's duty or whatever they said, but still being paid by taxpayers.
No, they said he's under close arrest.
Close arrest.
Yes, close arrest means he's being detained as a policeman, and he has to be in barracks or in the lockups until that agreement is given for him to be charged.
Okay. 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 What happened to the others that were there? Why are they not on the same close arrest? You don't see, Guyanese see what's going on there? You have to understand what's going on there.
You know,
they pluck one out of the group, but the rest of the group is still together to go and do the same nonsense.
I want to say something. This is how it started between 1999 and 2012.
It's the same.
This is how it started.
And then that individual now, when the back is against the wall, he now don't want to squeal. And you know what we're gonna do to him?
It's happening, because when you see the senior commissioner, assistant commissioner of police are sending out statements, that means that he's feeling it, because you know what?
Okay. Well, you know what
hold on.
That's
just give it 24 more hours more, then you're going to hear who gave the command, who identified the target, what was supposed to happen. All of that going to happen. Believe you me, all of that is going to happen.
The group that violated that man's home, all of them should be in barracks, whatever you want to call it. It is not that one individual gave the order. Guyanese have to learn to understand they know their rights. And no bloody body can tell you don't protest. It's your given constitutional rights. This is nonsense. It's both the two political parties are destroying Guyana. Because first of all, one person did fire the shot. But he didn't enter the home by himself. If you, this is how the law works. If you are caught in a stolen car, taking a ride in a stolen car, they're going to lock you up. They're going to lock you up and investigate whether you had anything to do with this car before they lose you. Whoever entered that man's home should be arrested. The same goes for what
wherever they put him on, votes for the rest. So don't pluck one out and saying he did something bad. He followed your orders. He went with the order. And as you rightfully said, those people they're not there to detain anybody.
No.
They don't shoot you, they don't shoot you, plant the evidence, and then they come up with a story.
No, but the position is really the position.
Why? Because she is eyewitness. The children, the trauma those children will go through for the rest of their life.
And up to now, the minister who is in charge of that ministry to assist those children psychologically and mentally can't come out and say anything because they're condemning her own government. So I don't know when did this get vexed and put me before the court when I call them terrorists.
Where is the human rights?
You understand? When I call them terrorists, they're putting me before the court. I'm making this person, what was the word? Emotionally distressed. And they're not condemning these actions. And these are Guyanese, these things are happening too. We might be black, or we color my skin might look like that. But do we deserve that? We're human beings, and they're forgetting that.
Exactly. My question is, where is the wanted drug dealer, the drug lord that is wanted by the U.S. government? Did you train them to run and get him? You're going to civilians, innocent people. You're kicking down the door, and then when the action is done, you're pointing fingers and plucking one out of the group. The whole group who went that day with the order, if the order was an illegal order, if whether they're doing the job, the fact is they kill an innocent man. There's no ifs and buts about it. Don't pluck one out of the group. They all entered their home illegally because we know that wasn't the individual or it wasn't supposed to do that. Whoever passed the order, maybe had a grievance against that guy.
Let me show you this. See, when I see things like that is happening, I'm preparing myself because you know why? I said what I said and I never stopped saying it. I do this for the love of country, and I ain't gonna stop.
I don't know what.
That ain't gonna stop me.
These people open their eyes. This is one thing my mom trained me. I mean, some of it harsh for women who have good husbands and who are policemen. Two things my mom says: never marry a policeman or a soldier. Never. You're all corrupt. Because if you got an illegal order like that, if you are a man with a heart, assistant commissioner, acting commissioner, you speak about things like that. If you do not, you're just a slave, just like them. Never, they're no good. And I honestly, please, who have good husbands that are policemen or soldier, I ask for your forgiveness, but they're no good. Trust me. And family, for those people, when y'all, eventually, it may look a story, oh no, they're doing me nothing. When they're done with the one set, they come in for you. What you can see. They're no good. They're too corrupt. They're being used to kill their own people, Chinese people, for the love of a little dollar. It's racist. Gavin, have a good night.
You too. And thank you very much. Stay safe and be careful, okay? Bye-bye. We make another call because, you know, there were people who were trying to get on to me and, you know, I got to make sure that I give them time to speak, you know? Good night to you. GMS Live, the voice of democracy. This is Mr. Matthews calling back.
If for the statement that lady is talking about black and don't say black certainly go. But is that in America?
Mm-hmm.
Is that if you're black, you're white. If you're white, you're black. You know, the BLM, say Black Lives Matter. That is that Negro Lives Matter in America, New Zealand. Negro, and then there's two things, black or white. It's all over the world. It's two things, black or white, and we don't know it's the ways of talking about.
Yes, yes.
But in a total version of say black. Black is a starting color, do that.
Yeah, I know, but you know, here was happen. Sometimes in the process of education, right? We need to look at those who, to you, my friend, you are not a slow learner.
Yeah.
You understand when I speak,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I got many friends like you. And they got those who I might think they're being educated, but they pick certain words out and they think it might offend them. So there are those kind of people that are exist. So you must agree to disagree and agree to agree. But at the end of the day, we all agree. You understand what I mean, friend?
Yeah, but if you don't pull up a farm with or if people bridge into this way, but then I'm a Negro or is what
You still there?
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah. It uses the words, but man, don't sweat with the man. You know, it's all right.
Is black or white in America? Okay, then.
Thank you very much for calling, man. Stay safe and be careful, right? Okay. I'll call you after the show. Good night to you. You're on to GMS Live, the voice of democracy. Good night.
Hey, Gavin. Good night, sir. How are you, man?
And you know I'm always fired up. Always. Always fired up.
Man, I just want to call you and said I just was listening to you a few minutes ago. Where that lady was calling. I want to come in and say something.
Like this lady pinched a lot of nerves tonight. Go ahead.
I want to say this to you. What we need to do in Guyana, we're bringing an independent investigation team. Because you know what? Remember the days when, I don't know, you should remember, I think you're going to, I'm going to pull your attention. When Jagir was in power and all of them was in power years ago, they had policemen like Gilaus, the Sousa agent and all them guys. Remember them guys?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
All right. So these young men now today killing innocent people. It bleeds my heart to see, hearing. And sometimes I don't even want to listen to it but you know what? As a strong man, I have to listen to it because the pain they put through the family. Let me tell you something. Years ago, I was in Guyana. The corruption of this PPP here. And secondly, I want to say to you, when AP and you was in power, did you ever heard how many pounds of cocaine get hold in the United States or going on a ship? No. But guess what? Since this government come in, it's corruption, the drugs, and all kind of thing going in. Wrongfully, imagine these police meeting are just arresting people wrongfully. Come on, man, we gotta do something. It's just like tearing me apart and knowing this is a country that I love.
You know what hurts me here? What hurts me? I can never forget the Luziknan trauma.
Of course, I don't even want to think about it sometime.
You know,
yes, go ahead, I'm listening.
That thing brought tears to my eyes because children were injured and children died in that event.
Of course, David. Of course.
In the wee hours of the night, just a couple barrel of money. People's lives were taken, snuffed out of them. I had never forget the Bartica trauma. You talking about Lusignan? Bartica was real trauma. The tongue shut down, friend.
Exactly.
But you know, I never forget. Hear what I never forget. Policemen dying in the streets. Every morning you wake up, another policeman dead. You know what I ask myself? What am I doing here as a policeman? I was going home. I never forget the morning. At night I was going home after 6. Some young men I passed in the bridge here that, hey, what is one? He's a post hole. And I sure ring a gun pony. I was a presidential guard then. You know what I'm telling you? I was a presidential, and I couldn't even respond to them for the fear of my life.
Gavin, you was with Kill Kelly.
No, I was a member of the presidential guard. I was a bodyguard too.
Was a president.
I was a.
Kill Kelly was a president guard too.
I don't know who really Kill Kelly was, but I came on in 1995.
Oh, that was late.
You understand? In 95 I came on. But the thing is that I have never forget unto this day. Never forget unto this day. And you know what made me leave the job? Let me tell you what made I leave the job. Roger Luncheon then went on television. When questioned by some reporters, you know what he said? He said, who are you talking about? Roger Khan? I don't know who you're talking about. Who's that man?
Wow.
I sat down and I looked at it and I said, this place is not a place for you.
Gavin, I don't want to call no name tonight, but I'm glad you bring up that story. A couple years ago, you remember we had the flower control something, right? The flower band. My brother, and you know who was running things them time? Right? And I was doing my thing. And on my way coming from across the river with a truckload of stuff, you know. Which thing you was doing the wrong thing. That was wrong, but you got to survive. And six individual pulled me over and said, hey, you got to go around Vel Police Station. I said, nah, bring me in Broad Street because I had a thing in Broad Street. Every man said they want X, Y, Z. And this is just irritate me. That's why I leave that country, you know. That's why I leave. Because your hand got to be in every police pocket. And we need to stop that bullshit. Excuse me, but we got to stop what's going on in Guyana. Since they pull you going up on the highway, I leave from the States, come down here. My nephew came and picked me up. But you know you're coming down the hill. The cops sit on one corner. Pull him over like, you know what, you was doing 90-something. Cops said, my nephew said, listen, my uncle just came from New York. He tired of it. He said, bring the uncle outside. Man, you know what? Somebody got to do somebody. Grease your hand. You catch what I'm saying?
I get you saying.
This is what's going on in the country. You got to do investigation from the police to right party, everybody. The man that who bribed the police supposed to get jail and the police supposed to get jail. And what the lady said tonight, I love what she said. And you cannot do that in the United States. We can't do that. Our innocent people is losing our life day by day, harassing. People put up, some young woman ain't got no baby. She got 3-4 baby fathers. She's trying to survive somewhere. You put up a little thing for sell, a little thing for maintain the children. They come and rip it down and kick it down open. Where are we going? You know, brother, where are we going? So this is the thing that the soldiers, them on the AP and you got to come out and stand up for their rights. You can't fly from Guyana come to New York and say, hey, we gonna keep a function here for you, and we gonna put money, everybody throwing a little dollar here and $20, $1,000 there for you. And you're not doing nothing for the people in Guyana. Stop me calling and telling people all kind of things. Let's do. Sacrifice what we have to sacrifice. Like I heard what you said. And I love what you said. If it takes your life, let it take.
Of course.
Your country.
Of course. And they know me joking. They know me joking.
Anytime.
They know me joking.
Anytime I will support you. You stand as a soldier. You stand as a Guyanese. I don't care what people speak about you because you know what? I don't listen to criticism. I listen to the positive things.
Yeah, man, you got to be positive. Yeah, it's.
And I love what you're doing.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well,
you know,
I want to say.
You do it. Yes.
Yes, I want to say thank you very much for calling in and sharing, sharing your views.
We're gonna link again.
Yes, man.
Again, all right?
Very much appreciated.
All right,
stay safe and be careful.
No problem.
Here we come to the end of tonight's program. At least I have to end it once and for all. I want to say thank you for those who have joined in. Thank you for those who have contributed by calling in. I think there is supposed to be a message shared tonight. I think that's why I allowed it to go on beyond the 1 hour and a half. And I think the message was shared. People got the idea and the understanding. It's not about, it's about the PPP. That's why I come on every night. And that's why I call them a racist set of people, but they don't care even about the people who voted for them. That is so dangerous. That's why I love to awake your consciousness and help you to understand where we're going from here as a country. I appreciate those who have voted on the referendum, and we need more votes. I was looking at it last night, and we need more votes. We do. Please, go on the Gavin. I'm going to put it up there again. Go on the Gavin Matthews Show page. Click into the ballot. Read the 2 questions. Click on any one of the 2 questions. Fill in your name and your email address. And click on that green bar that says thank you for voting. It's a must. That we must vote. We must. To make a difference in our country, we must. We must activate the office of the Chancellor of the Judiciary. Why you think she sits on the appeal court and it becomes the Chancellor's court? Because the de facto Attorney General is challenging the Constitution. She has to represent it because she's the only person by Constitution holds the instruments of the executive. She has to act on behalf of the will of the people. And when you do vote, I ask you to support the cause by going onto the GoFundMe page and contribute. Contribute on the GoFundMe towards the cause. Anything else you got a problem, you call me. Call the number that is there, 611-6575. Make sure if you're overseas, you add the information there, +592 number, then you call. If WhatsApp call, be better. And I want to say thank you very much again. Stay safe, be careful, sanitize yourself, wear a mask. Don't forget the little ones you take into public places. This is Dr. Matthews saying good night. Cheerios for now.